David Suzuki has a dangerous plan for Canada, and he's using a charity and the tax write-off that comes with it to push his very political agenda. Now, if you follow David Suzuki, Saint Suzuki of the CBC, then you'll know this man is an environmental radical, never mind a hypocrite. Well, for the last year, Suzuki has been pushing for something that I think needs to be stopped, and stopped now. He wants environmental rights added to the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. He started this campaign in 2013, and a fundraising email from December of that year laid out exactly why he was pushing this agenda. In his words, anyway. What would it mean? As citizens, we'd be able to hold government and industry accountable if they harm our air, water, soil, and ecosystems. It will reduce illnesses and healthcare costs, literally saving lives. Environmental rights would give individuals like you and me real power to protect our families, our communities, and the landscapes we love for generations. Now, Suzuki has enlisted the help of lawyer and Trudeau Foundation legal scholar David Boyd to push for this.
No matter where you live, you should be able to turn on the tap and drink safe water. You should know that the food your family eats is free from pesticides and other harmful chemicals. And when you go for a walk down the street, you shouldn't have to worry about breathing in toxic air pollution.
Now, some of you might think, hey, on the surface, this sounds like a good thing. We all want clean air, we want clean water, we want clean land, but that's not the real point of Suzuki's push. Suzuki's real agenda is much more than that. It's about stopping development now and in the future. Here's what he told Now magazine. What does this guarantee the right to a healthy environment? Well, you would want to build that pipeline. You would have to prove that this is not going to harm air, water, soil, biodiversity. It starts from the fundamental premise that air, water, soil are the critical things. It changes the whole game. See, that's a lie, the way he's got it spelled out there. It's an out-and-out lie designed to make you think that pipelines in development, they're just rubber stamped based on economic factors. They aren't. The hearings for Northern Gateway, well, they began in January 2012. They wrapped up in June of 2013. That's 18 months of public hearings. There were then 12 months of deliberations and a conditional approval with 209 conditions attached. Now, Suzuki would tell you that's not enough. That's because this isn't about ensuring development is done in harmony with the environment. It's about stopping development. Well, except for home building, for him. This is a man that does have 4 homes and he flies all over the country. But the rest of us, we need to do without. We need to do with less. This is what Suzuki told Global News about the push for environmental rights in the Charter. Well, everything would change then. It means that when you want to build a pipeline or drill for oil, the first thing you ask is this going to compromise the right of people to live in clean air, clean water, clean soil? So it puts the burden on the developer rather than the developer coming and saying, this is what I want to do. And the environmentalists have to come along and say, oh, well, wait a minute. Now it's the other way around. So he's pushing this across the country. And he's using his David Suzuki Foundation, a charity, need I remind you, for this very political gain. One of his recent emails to supporters in search of a donation read, great news, Duncan, Ladysmith, Saanich, BC have joined 9 other communities in passing declarations recognizing their citizens' right to live in a healthy environment. So the David Suzuki Foundation is lobbying cities, a political activity. They're lobbying cities across the country to adopt declarations that they support the Charter being changed. It's step 1 of the plan, according to Foundation spokesman Micaiah Proul.
So how do we turn this belief into action? The first step is for Canadians all across the country to come together and work with their municipal leaders to pass municipal declarations recognizing our right to a healthy environment. The second step is for cities all across Canada to lift up their declarations as a model for provinces to follow. This will inspire provincial leaders to pass environmental bills of rights. With so many people standing up from coast to coast to coast and cities and provinces leading the way, the final step is to see the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms amended to recognize our right to a healthy environment.
They're lobbying cities, provinces, the federal government. This is a charity. They're not supposed to be engaged in political activity. But most people will say, well, it doesn't matter because this sounds harmless. And it is harmless as long as you don't mind fewer jobs, no new homes to buy, less development, less of everything. That is the true motivation. Stop development at all costs. Grind the economy to a halt. Now, let me put this into perspective for you in what it means for you personally. Another icon of Canada's environmental movement is Maury Strachan. This is the man that championed the Earth Summit in Rio in 1992. He's the man behind Agenda 21. At the opening of the Earth Summit, he said, current lifestyles and consumption patterns of the affluent middle class involving high meat intake, the use of fossil fuels, electrical appliances, home and work air conditioning, and suburban housing are not sustainable. 5 years later, he wrote in National Review, we may get to the point where the only way of saving the world will be for industrial civilization to collapse. This is the end goal of the environmental movement. So when they say that they want environmental rights added to the charter, the real goal is to stop development. How? By empowering lawyers to launch lawsuits at every turn. David Suzuki's plan should be called the Lefty Lawyer Full Employment Amendment, because the lawsuits will be never ending. That's why this idea should be shut down before it grows any further.